Hey everyone. In this video, I am going to talk about listing an item, how to do it. I'm going to walk you through on my computer. I'm also going to talk about what to do once you get an order from a customer, which is super cool, and how to fulfill the tracking information once you get that so that the customer knows and Facebook knows that it's shipped. So I'm excited to make this video. It's a video people always ask me about because a lot of the times you might not find exactly how to put input tracking. It's kind of obvious for some of us, but if you've never done it, you don't really know where to go to do that, or just how to even list maybe. And again, how to fulfill the order. Some people are like, what do I even do once I get an order? So this video is for you. So for those of you who are more experienced, this might not be your video, but if you just want to stick around for the view or whatever, that's totally cool. I appreciate anybody who likes the video and subscribes. I would love for you to take a second and do that before I dive in, but let's get to it. All right, so we're in my computer, and if you see stuff blurred out here and there, it's just because it's people's personal information, and I just would rather, you not really see that stuff, not really because I think you're a weirdo, but just because it's just people's privacy. So I'll try not to blur out too much stuff, but you will see some blurred out things, and just know it's probably an address, a full name. Some people's names I'll leave, but just I'm prefacing, don't be weirded out when I'm blurring stuff out. I'm not keeping stuff from you unless it needs to be. So, all right, we're on Facebook. Where do you start? Let's assume you know nothing, right? Typically, you're just gonna go to Marketplace on the side, and you can go to your account if you want. These are some things I have listed. I don't have much listed on this account. I have all of my items out of stock at the moment. I'm not really selling on this account, which you don't need to really worry about right now. But you can see some things I have listed. I've listed some of these tire cap valve stem caps, and this one I've sold a few times. It's got 2,200 views on it. This one's only got 57, 487, and this one's got 2,800, and this coffee table's only got about 30. So I'm just showing you this as an example of, you're going to get things all over the place. Like, this is my first item and it had a pretty decent amount of views. It's not a bunch, but it's decent. It did sell a few times. And then you're going to have things that, might not get any views. Don't let that discourage you, basically. This is a numbers game. I have things that have 0 views and they've been listed for like a month on another account. So just know all your listings aren't going to be perfect. It's literally just trial and error. But okay, moving on. Here is your seller account, basically. When you want to list an item, typically what you do is you'd go down here to create new listing. And you'd basically just be hitting this items for sale button. You don't have to worry about any of these for now. You probably never have to worry about any of these. And this is a new feature that I haven't even messed with, so don't worry about it. Item for sale. Now, normally what you do is, this is exactly how you've listed an item. Maybe you've listed on Facebook before to sell something from your home or just something that you own, and you're familiar with this part. What you want to make sure that you have, and is a good sign that you have before you start, is that there's next options and there's these little tabs. You may not have this many. My other account only has 3. This one's got 4. Everybody's account is kind of different. So if my stuff doesn't look exactly like yours, just know that Facebook's just always evolving, and some people's accounts have different things because they're trialing things on multiple thousands of people's accounts and stuff at any given time. So the features might be tiny different, but the basic concept is the same. All right. So normally what you'd do is you'd find something on Amazon.com, Walmart.com. What's the other big one? There's Home Depot. eBay is another big one. I primarily use Amazon. You'll hear from some people, never use Amazon. That's totally fine. You don't have to use Amazon, but I do it all the time. So that's pretty much only what I do. We're not going to go over why in this video. This video is just to show you how to do stuff, but feel free to check out my other videos to learn about that. Anyway, all right, I went ahead and already picked an item because I already have an order for it and stuff, so I'm walking you through the motions of it, basically. This item right here, valve stem caps. Let's just list another one for sure. Okay, now, typically what you would do is you would click on these and you'd save each photo to your computer, and then you'd go to the next one and you'd click the photo if you want it, and you just keep doing that. And then you'd have to go and you'd come back here and you'd upload them using this add photos option. You can also just drag them from your desktop into this if you want, but That's how you add photos. Then what you would do is you would copy this, or only copy the piece you want. You don't want to keep the brand name in there from whatever random store is selling it or manufacturing it. You don't need to worry about that. But typically you'd copy this and you'd paste it here. You'd look at the price, which is $6.99, and you're like, okay, what can I sell this for? What do I think people would buy it for? I always suggest going a minimum of $50 or 50% markup, sorry. So, I mean, for something like this though, if you just kind of look at my other listings, they're gone now. I like to list stuff like this around $15 or so, and you get a decent profit due to it. So sometimes I'll list $12 with $3 shipping. Sometimes I'll just list $15 flat. If that doesn't make sense to you right now, that's totally okay. We're going to get there. But I'm just explaining. And then you'd come in here and you'd copy the description. And after, picking a category and the condition, you would paste the description, a category for something like this. I always do auto parts, and then I do car parts and accessories. Sweet. You'll notice that a lot of the time, all these captions and stuff, they're from people who just don't type very well, or maybe English is their second language. So I come in here and I have an extension called Grammarly. You probably heard of it. I only have the free version. It doesn't cost me anything. But I can just come in here and just click on red stuff, and then it just like electromobile. Like what? We're just gonna delete that, because you also don't want people to read your stuff and like be turned off by it. I don't do much editing, but like what is this like? So obviously there's a disconnect with words here, but I'll come in here, find some stuff, and just click these. Oh, okay, I'm not gonna do it to the whole thing. Anyway, maybe I will. Okay. Anyway, that's your description. What I like to do is I like to take the caption that I have and put it at the top of my description. I don't know for sure that it helps, but it's just adding more keywords into that description so that when somebody's searching, Facebook, when it's scanning all of their listings, kind of pick up on all the keywords and like, okay, this is reiterating that this is a good thing to show this customer. So I do that. I always put new in box or new in package in my listing. Some people do all sorts of cool stuff with emojis, and they really deck out their descriptions. To me, it looks a little salesy when people do that, but a lot of people have super success with that. So I'm not knocking it. I just don't personally do it because I wouldn't personally buy from anybody who did that. But again, that's just a little preference of mine. They're obviously making sales doing it. So see how these things are listed like this? And they're obviously like bullet points. I'll come out and just for the sake of cleanliness in here, I will check that, like I'll space it all out so that it's just easy to digest in little chunks of information. And then I will go down. Usually there's some kind of like satisfaction like this or warranty thing. I delete that. I'm not about to like promise people warranty stuff. We're not trying to overcomplicate anything. These are supposed to be, you list something, somebody buys it, hopefully without messaging you, you fulfill it, and the transaction's done. You take your profit and run, basically. And they get their product. So you're not like ripping them off and not sending them anything. You're just deal with that. All right. I'm all over the place. Let's go back up. I don't have any photos because I'm going to show you something else here in a moment. But price, select your price. Let's just call it $13 for now. And condition, once it loads. Okay, condition, new. I always put new because it's not like it's something that's used. I'll come down here. I usually like to put somewhere between 8 and 20. Just if I know, I'm like, okay, yeah, this thing doesn't say that there's only a few left or anything. On that note, I would rather you not list anything, like say it's from Amazon or something that shows that it's only like 10 left. You'd stay away from things like that because stuff already goes out of stock on you all the time. You don't need to be purposely finding things that are going to go out of stock on you. So let's just put 8, whatever. Product tags. Some people say tags don't matter. I put tags, but I don't know that they help. But I am going to do things like valve stem caps, Ford, because that's like the chances are that's what somebody's going to be looking at. And then if they search for other Ford stuff, this will come up hopefully. Air caps. I try to think of what else people might type in that aren't. They're called valve stem caps, but tire caps. Yeah. So You can even put stuff like car, like really general, broad, like car or truck, things like that. I might even put truck in here. Anyway, put it in there. You can do 20. I kind of just type stuff out until I notice that I'm thinking too hard about them, and then I'm like, okay, move on. I always hide from my friends. At the moment, not everybody has the SKU option, or maybe they do now by the time you watch this video, but I don't put anything for SKU. I'm not managing any inventory. Like if you were an actual brick and mortar business and you needed to be able to search things by SKU for inventory that you carry in a store, that's more for that. But don't worry about that as a drop shipper, okay? Okay, so I'm at the bottom, but I notice my next is still grayed out. That must be because I don't have a photo. So let's go ahead and save the photo. Okay, and that's just saved on my desktop somewhere. Hold on. Maybe it's not. Let's go back. Oh. Okay. Save as desktop. Save. All right. So here's another issue. Perfect reason. I'm going to explain something here in a moment why this is part of the part that sucks. So I'm saving it, right? And I'm like, where's my photo? Well, even if you click on it, sometimes the photos are like links instead. And there's ways to get around that, but then it's like you have to, I'm going to see if I can do it this way. So this is a JPEG image. You have to make sure you click on it so that it pulls up this second window where you can cycle through all the photos, and then you should be able to save it. But so now I do have a photo and all this crap. All right. Okay. Let's go back to our listing and upload a photo. Boom. Takes a second usually. And then there's your photo. It's there. Now it's going to show up looking like that, which sucks, but for the sake of speed, we're not going to edit the photo or anything. You can always edit the photos if you want, if you have some kind of software you want to use, but you don't have to. A lot of people don't. All right. So now my next option is available. I'm going to hit next. You can put whatever location you really want. Don't be too worried about that. I just move around big cities. I just have a list of big cities that I move around. We'll go ahead and leave it in New York for now. It really doesn't matter that much. I just try to list it in high traffic cities so that if the listing does get momentum, then good to go. All right. Shipping and local pickup or delivery method, I guess. I always do shipping only. You can do shipping and local, but then you're going to get local people asking you to meet and stuff, and that's not the goal here most of the time, or any of the time for me at least. Now, some people, I get a lot of questions about this one. Shipping method. Use a prepaid shipping label, which is the default most of the time, or use your own shipping label. Now, make sure you read these things when you list, but I always choose use your own shipping label. A lot of the times when we start, we don't really know what the difference is between these, and I did it. A lot of people get bitten by this on their first sale or two. They'll hit use prepaid, and then if you notice, if you use the prepaid option, you have to pick a weight for how big the item would be. So like if I didn't know any better, I'd hit this probably less than a half a pound, and it's going to charge the customer $3.75 shipping. But what's going to happen is if the customer makes an order, Facebook is going to take that money and then provide you a shipping label. So then at that point you're screwed because now you have a shipping label, but you need to send the item through Amazon or whatever. So, and they're just going to put whatever tracking they want to on it. So now you have this pointless label that you have to like put on a letter and mail to the customer so that it gets in the system for Facebook to track it. And it's just a whole thing. So don't use that. Use your own shipping label as the option, because technically when you buy something from Amazon and they provide you a tracking number, they've already used a label. So in theory, you're using your own label. You're not using Facebook's label. So just know that. Base shipping rate, I'm going to do $2. Here's another back and forth between people. You don't have to use a shipping option. I have so many listings that have free shipping, and I have a lot of listings that have a little bit of shipping. It's just how you think you want to sell it. And then I have options where I will duplicate list the same item and test whether or not the shipping one or the non-shipping one works better. It's just a good way to trial and error how people are receptive to certain items. People are more likely to pay shipping for big items a lot of the time than they are for small items. So it's just something. Additional item fee. I usually don't put anything for that, but what that's for is my other account doesn't even have this option, but if your account has this option, that is just in case somebody wants to buy multiple of something and you have shipping as a rate on there. Like if you are having them pay for shipping, that way the shipping cost, you can tack on a little bit of cost per item in case your shipping actually did go up. Because in theory, this isn't for drop shipping. It's for if you actually were selling stuff. So if I was selling, this marker and I knew that I could fit this in a certain package and it would ship for a flat rate, if somebody bought multiple of these, then chances are, like say they bought 10, well, I have 10 markers aren't going to fit in the same small package one does. So my shipping rate is going to go up. That in theory is what the additional item fee is. So you can kind of save your butt on that a little bit. But I always hit 0 because that's not really our problem right now. And then we're not going to use the free shipping because I did type in a shipping on there. But just know, yeah, this is a free. If you did choose free shipping, hit that check mark. Sorry, I'm kind of slow right now. We're going to hit next. I don't let people negotiate. That's just not, I just don't. It's just another thing. I don't really, I'm trying to minimize the amount of messages I get from customers. And in the beginning, you get a lot of messages from customers. Okay, and then I'm going to hit publish. Once you hit publish, it'll pop up here. A lot of the times it will say in blue listing, like under review or that it's being reviewed or whatever. That's totally normal. It usually goes away within 5 to 10 minutes, sometimes even like 30 seconds or a minute. Just know that right now I'm going to refresh the page and see if it pops up. Yep, this listing is being reviewed. That just is standard. It's scanning the stuff to make sure you're not selling like adult stuff or guns or any of that. So anything against their rules, basically. Okay, so that can take a little bit. So just for the sake of even if you aren't that new or you're new and you're like, oh man, that sounds like a lot of work, there are extensions you can download. And I'm not going to go over it completely, but I have other videos on them. Here's one. It's called ZDrop. I use ZDrop and FBM Fox. They're both softwares and they're both extensions. You can see them here. So, but you might have noticed these red buttons on the top of my listings and then this orange button here that says Save to FBM Fox. If I wanted to, I could save this to my extension and auto list it. And I also have ZDrop. So if I also want to, I can hit this button and it copies stuff. It opens a page automatically for me. And then I just got to wait a second. This little paste data button will pop up. And that will, once I give it a minute, it will input all that information for me. And then I just have to customize it for the most part. So this saves a lot of time. If you notice, see that I'm not doing that. It's like doing stuff on its own. Using an auto lister like that, you can just rearrange your photo. This took all the photos, super easy. I don't have to save any of them. They're not on my computer. Now you just go in and edit stuff to be what you want because it just puts the basic information in there. And that you can list a lot faster doing stuff like that. Again, that's ZDrop and FBM Fox. I do have coupon codes in my description for those. My ZDrop coupon code, which is what I just showed you, it gives you $1 off. And I think you get like a 7-day free trial with that. But that's probably like a game changer, especially if you're just starting out. FBM Fox is more expensive. So when you're ready to level up and go more, it keeps tracks of all your sales. It keeps basically a spreadsheet for you. It tells you when you get orders. It auto tracks and updates your pricing for you. If you're just starting out, that might not be something you're interested in, but it's a great tool no matter what. So if you got the extra money and you want to do it, go for it. That also gives you 10% off your first month. My coupon code for that down in the description. But check those out. They're a great game changer. Anyway, let's move on. Okay, we got our listing. I listed this on purpose because I already have a sale for this item, but I wanted to walk you through how to list it. All right. Now, let me find my sale. This is a spreadsheet, by the way, of just, things that I've sold this month on this account. Not much, but I have gotten there. And I'm going to scroll over. I do have a video on my spreadsheets, by the way. I was given to it by another really good drop shipper, and I made a video and put the link in the description for the spreadsheet, and you can save the spreadsheet to use for yourself. And I go over all those details there. But I am going to I always copy paste the person's order URL from up here into my spreadsheet so that I can easily go back to it. Now, you might notice that, oh, this isn't the item that you just listed, Cameron. It's like, I know that. This person actually messaged me, and I'll put it up on the screen. This person messaged me and said that they placed an order. Sorry, I'm all over the place, guys. They placed an order with me, and I told them, hey, Randy, I'm out of stock in this exact item, but I have these in stock if you want me to send them instead. And then I sent the picture of the thing we just listed. I said, if not, feel free to request to cancel under the options and details section to reverse the transaction. That's what I tell people when I'm out of stock, because they need to request to cancel. If you cancel it, it knocks your numbers. Again, we won't go over that right now because that's not what we're talking about, but it affects how Facebook looks at your account, and you always want them to request. All he said was, yes, please send, or yes, send, please. So I said, will do, thanks for the replay so fast. And then I never check what I'm typing, so I had to correct myself and say reply. But, so instead, I did make an order for one of these, which is great. All right, so now that I have an order from him, which is, you can see here, his information will be blurred out, but you can see here is the $12 price. I put $3 shipping, so the opposite of what I listed ads a minute ago or earlier, so don't focus on that. But the fact that there is shipping and a subtotal, this is what the order looks like when Facebook sends it to you. You'll get a little notification that says you received a new order. And then if you click on that, it will pull this page up. So if you're here, you'll notice that you have a marked as shipped option or a cancel order. Right now, we don't have the tracking number, so we're not going to mark as shipped because it hasn't been shipped. And we're not going to cancel the order because the customer doesn't want to cancel it. But what I will go in is I will take the $12 and I'll go in my spreadsheet. You can see I've already done it here. I add together the 12 plus the shipping before I put it in my spreadsheet. So it's 15 total. The Facebook fee is 80 cents. So I put that there. So this is the total, what I'm getting. The cost of the item is $6.99. So I put that here. And when I order it, the tax will be 42 cents because of the state he lives in requires me to pay sales tax when I buy it because I'm not tax exempt in that state, which if you're new, do not worry about tax exempt stuff right now. That's totally not an issue. Obviously, I'm not tax exempt for some places either. So, and if you've never heard of that, ignore me. Don't worry about that right now. Trust me. Then over here, it shows my little profit calculator that I've got 48% profit on this item, and the income I'm getting from it is $6.79. So it only cost me $6.99 to buy, so that's pretty cool. I basically get exactly the cost of it back. So anyway, all right, we have the order. Again, remember, this guy ordered something else technically, but then I messaged him and said it was sold out. So we're going to send him the thing he agreed for me to send him instead, which is the item that we just listed. What I'm going to do is, this is my own personal Amazon account. I'm going to add to cart, proceed to checkout, and you're going to see a lot of blurred out stuff on this, so don't be alarmed by that. Okay. Now, again, typically what you would do is you would highlight the name, go in and add it to the address, the shipping address, and then you'd highlight the address and you just copy all this information as if it was your own and fill that out so that Amazon ships it there instead. All right, but because I use Z-Drop, and I just for the sake of speed on the video, because the video is getting pretty long already, I'm gonna hit copy address by Z-Drop. Again, coupon code down in the description. It's super convenient. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to go here, and up at the top, there's a paste address by Z-Drop button. Has my information first, and then it will paste their information. Now, every once in a while, these extensions can be tricky. They don't work perfectly every time. So I am going to just glance back and make sure this looks right. I have had it in the past where Z-Drop, the customer put in a second line item for the like an apartment number or something, and Amazon didn't have that when I pasted it. So now, learning that lesson, because it was kind of an issue, I come back and I just make sure that the name and the state is at least the same. That way it's like, okay, yeah, it copied everything, and that there's no apartment number or anything. All right, I'll hit use address. Cool. Now, This will give you your update. So if the state has tax or whatever, here's what it's going to cost you. I will use this payment method, which is my Amazon Prime Rewards Visa. I use Amazon and this card because you get 5% cash back for everything that I buy. So that's why I use it. Because, you rack up a couple $100 or sometimes a couple $1,000 depending on how much you sell in just rewards points each month. So use this payment method. Just use whatever card you want. There. All right. Now I only have one shipping option, and I just glance back and make sure that that is the right name just to be sure. Cool. And then I place my order. Now, I've already placed this order, so I'm not going to place it again right now. But right now I'd hit place your order, and then you would get an email confirmation saying, thanks, here's a confirmation for your order. Perfect. All right. Now, I'm going to X out of that window. Okay. So that's how you fulfill an order. Now we're going to go into, well, now what? Tracking. How long does that take? Whatever. Okay. So I do have a little email from Amazon that I got the tracking information for this order. What do you do with it? Well, remember that marked as shipped button. I am actually going to click track package. Amazon's going to open up the info. It says it's going to arrive tomorrow by 8 p.m. Sweet. What I'm going to grab though is this. See how it says shipped with UPS, tracking ID this. I'm going to copy paste this tracking number. For me, I'm going to go back to my spreadsheet, and under my tracking section, I'm actually going to type in UPS and then paste that tracking number. Then I'm going to go over, find my order, and pull it up. Now, if you're not using a spreadsheet, you can still find these things by going to your Facebook Marketplace account and going to shipping orders. This will show you a list of things that are waiting to be shipped. Since that's my only order, I'm going to click it and it brings up the same exact page. The reason I save it in my spreadsheet is because if you're doing hundreds of orders, which has happened, sometimes, especially if you're selling, let's say I sold 50 of these same things, it doesn't really differentiate who sold what when I'm scrolling through that list. See, it doesn't give a name, it doesn't give a number right here. It just tells you what it is. Now, there are things like on here you can get product stuff and it will display it, but if you got 100 items, it's still not practical. So I copy paste the URL from when this window was popped up into my spreadsheet, so it's really easy to get to. Just a little tip. That one changed the game for me, just that stupid little tip. But now that we have the shipping tracking number, we will hit, this is a button. Some people don't realize this is a button. Mark as shipped. Sweet. You have to choose a shipping carrier. Now, Facebook only likes you to use USPS, FedEx, or UPS. Luckily, this person used USPS. So I'm going to select USPS and input my tracking number. Now, if you order something off Amazon or even Walmart or anything, and they don't use one of those main 3 shipping carriers that are listed on the screen, it won't track it. And the ideal thing is Facebook's going to pay me my money back 5 days after this item is delivered. So it says it's going to get delivered tomorrow. I'm not going to get paid for a little under a week after that business day. So probably next week sometime. That's how it works. If Facebook has any hiccups at all with the tracking, they're going to pay you like 15 to 20 days after the item was purchased from you. So you don't want to wait that long to get your money back. There are tricks and tips to help you get around those things. I have other videos for that in my video list. There are things like OA Genius and TBA tracking numbers. Look for that on a video. And that'll be how do we get around things. But for now, USPS is good to go. I'm going to hit save. It's going to do its thing. And now the item is marked as shipped. And then it will give you a little notification saying it too, which is kind of annoying because then you start to get a bunch of notifications. But, okay. I'm going to refresh it just to see if it updates. Okay. Sometimes, see how it says shipped? In theory, it should say in transit, but Facebook just hasn't pinged all that information yet. And that's really it. That's all you have to do is to fulfill the order. That's how you input the tracking number. Now, I kind of don't touch it after that unless the customer gets it and there's a problem. And if there's a problem, then I try to help them out with a return or send something in its stead. but that's a whole nother video too. Most of the time, I would say like 95% of the time, somebody orders, I don't even have to message them. I buy the item, I ship it to them. Sometimes they just say, thanks, I got it. Or sometimes we never even talk. They just get the item, and it's just as simple as that. There's no issues. So this item is marked as shipped. Now I have no items that are waiting to be shipped, and we're good to go. So that's pretty much it. I'm sure there's some little nuanced information in there that you might come across, or like, oh crap, he didn't talk about this in the video. Hopefully I didn't speed over some things too fast for you, but that is how to list and fulfill an order. Again, those Z-Drop and FBM Fox things are down in the bottom. Those are coupon codes. If you do use those coupon codes, I do get a little bit of a commission for that. It doesn't come out of your pocket, it comes out of theirs. So feel free to use the code. And hopefully you found some value in the video and you can get started, because it's a super cool side hustle. I've made already several $1,000s doing this. I haven't been doing it very long, and it's just a really fun thing to do, kind of. It's just a weird little pocket of the internet that you can make some money in. So hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will see you next time.